always had a good television lover like that. Currently, it's Judge Judy. Now let me explain this. She is a dominatrix. You heard how she talks to people? You stupid, you stupid. You know, she's got a leather teddy and some stilettos on under that robe. You want to see Judge Judy how I see Judge Judy? Bind your legs in some fishing wire, and every time she slams down the gavel, look at 9-volt battery. Judy. You know? Love my Judge Judy.
So I might not look exactly the same. That footage was from about 15 years ago, if I remember correctly. And that was me doing stand-up comedy. Hey everyone, welcome to JohnnyVlogs. Hope your week is going great. And longtime brain scratcher Shroom Factory was curious about my run in stand-up comedy and what that was like, because he's considering getting up on stage this year. So first of all, Shroom Factory, I hope it goes well for you. I'm going to hopefully give you some information here that will help you get onto that stage and have fun up there, which is really such an important part of it. For me, stand-up comedy kind of came as a side effect. I was taking classes at the Groundlings, which is a very popular improvisation school out here in the Hollywood area. A lot of people from Saturday Night Live came from the Groundlings, like Will Ferrell. I believe even Paul Rubens, Pee Wee Herman, did some training there. John Lovitz, if any of you remember who he is, I think he came out of there as well. There's so many people. Maya Rudolph, who, very interestingly, I went to a show there one night and Maya Rudolph sang a song about my marriage ending because the contract was up after 5 years. And surprisingly, it kind of happened that way. My first marriage, that is. So it's a very cool place. If you ever visit the Hollywood area and you're looking for a fun night out, check out the Groundlings. The shows that they do are always entertaining, and it's all coming off the top of the person's head, which is what's really fun about learning improv. So I was taking classes there, and they offered a one-off class to be trained in stand-up comedy. And that was given by Rick Overton, who, if you do a search on him, you might recognize him. If you remember the Bill and Ted TV show at all, I believe he played Rufus in that. He's also popped up in a ton of different things, Amazing Stories, Seinfeld. He was the Drake, if I remember correctly. I'm saying that a lot today, if I remember correctly. It's like I'm that old. My memory is just so vast and decaying that I can't remember everything. So I took a class with him and kind of got taught the basics of how to get into stand-up comedy. And the few things that I can relay that are fairly easy are, if you are going on stage somewhere that's going to be kind of your big first gig, make sure it's not your first gig. Out here, particularly in the LA area, it's very easy to find open mics, and you want to go to several open mics so that you get comfortable just with handling a microphone, getting up on stage, handling the mic stand. That's another thing I see so many amateur comedians struggle with. It's just the simple mechanics of the mic stand, how to tighten it up, how to loosen it up, how to raise it, how to lower it, how to make sure the mic is in there and then it doesn't fall forward so it falls out or something silly like that. Those are all things that you really want some experience with. So look for open mics. There's a lot of coffee shops that do it. Sometimes you'll have to buy a coffee or, a sandwich shop, and they'll want you to have a minimum purchase of some kind to get on stage. Whatever it takes, do it. You need the time on stage. You need the time in front of other people. And know that those are, by nature, extremely tough gigs. In a lot of places, you're going to be performing to other people that are just waiting to go on stage. Half the time, they're not going to be paying attention to you because they're thinking in their head about being nervous or about what their material is and trying to memorize it. So those are very, very tough gigs. But that being said, just don't have the bar raised. Don't think that you're going to go up there and have the whole room just rolling in laughter. Go up there, have fun, get through your material, and if you get a few people laughing at you, that's usually a fairly good sign of how your material is going to hit. What I've noticed is when you get into larger environments, when you're performing in front of groups of 50 or so, those 2 people out of the 6 that you had laughing, that now multiplies up into 15 or 20 of the 50 people laughing. And once 15 or 20 of them get laughing, all of a sudden another 10 of them decide to laugh just because they want to be in on the fun. it's an infectious type situation that happens once you get people really having a good time. And that's really what you want to hit. You want to get to that point where they trust you, they want to laugh with you. And that's another point that's probably worth me bringing up. People want you to be good. So when you get up there, keep that in mind. They don't want you to fail. They want you to entertain them. They want you to take them on some kind of ride, to pick them up at this spot, drop them off over here, a happier person. And that is kind of your job as a stand-up. And think about that in the material that you write also. When I was first getting started, I kind of had this thing where I wanted to be a ranter. I kind of wanted to help change people's minds more than give them fun or make them laugh. And obviously my YouTube content reflects that, because I'm not even doing that much comedy nowadays. I'm doing a lot more about people thinking about situations and trying to find out the truth in these situations. So ultimately for me, I found out that that was more important to me, to communicate with people in a way where I'm helping them engage in new thoughts. That's ultimately what I want to do. Stand-up comedians, very few can do that, where they're giving you a great time and they're also giving you this kind of new perspective. But it's a pretty rare thing, and it takes a lot of time to develop that, because your audience has to kind of know that about you. And if you're going into a room cold and they don't know you, that first time you go up is probably going to be pretty shaky in terms of getting them on your side and trying to show them this new way of thinking. So ultimately what happened for me with it, I had like the gig of my life, where it was a bunch of friends and family, and they just packed this place, and it was like I couldn't do wrong. I performed for over 20 minutes, and it was literally like the whole room was laughing at every single joke. The whole place was rolling. And this is right around the time that first marriage of mine was petering out, or she was off with someone else, and it kind of threw me for a loop. So I got a bit depressive, and I didn't want to do that type of stand-up comedy. And what's interesting about it is, if I was ever going to be successful, that would have been the time for it to happen. Because when you're with someone, it's very hard to take on a career where you are traditionally traveling. And that's something to know about it if you're really serious about doing stand-up. Even being out here in LA and having tons of places that I could perform at locally, if you are serious about stand-up and you get to the point where you're doing well, you're going to travel. And you're going to travel a lot, and you're going to be away from home a lot. And I had to kind of face those realities and figure out what was more important to me. Of course, now that I've been married again for, I think, over 12 years now, it's much more important to me that I keep my home life stable, that I'm here to enjoy it. And even that ties into even acting work. I mean, if you listen to some of these big stars that are being interviewed about the type of work that they do and the types of jobs that they take, they quite frequently will travel somewhere and stay there for several weeks, sometimes several months, to finish a project. And you have to be very realistic with yourself. Is that important to you? Is it that important to you that you would be away from your family for that period of time? I find it really tough for me to reconcile wanting to be away from your children for that long. Now, I don't have any kids of my own, so some could say, well, for me it'd be even easier. But, you know, I love my home life. I love, first of all, doing this, which all this takes place at home. I love my cats. I love my wife. There's things about being home every night that I want to experience. And you have to really decide, is going out and traveling, and some people do want to travel. Naturally, as a person, I can enjoy traveling on vacations here or there, but I don't like traveling for extended periods of time. I've known that my whole life, so that's just the type of person that I am. That's what I'm wired for. Other people love to travel and engage new cultures and meet new people and really thrive in that. So that's a big part of if you want to be a stand-up. So Shroom Factory, I hope I've given you a few tips here that you can use. Ultimately, have fun with it. Make sure you feel really good about the material that you're writing. Make sure it is more in the vein of helping other people have fun, getting them to laugh, not so much trying to give them a totally new perspective. And be sure to practice it. Go find some other small stages you can get up on, and know that those are going to be some of your tougher performances, but you want those. so that when you get to that first big performance, whatever it is, you will be very comfortable and able to win that room over, because that's ultimately what you're there to do. So hope that helped you out. Thanks so much for asking about that. If you have any other questions, you know how to reach me. Send me or drop a comment below, or send me an email, and I will be sure to share some more knowledge with you. For everyone else, I just want to thank the newest Patreon supporters. It's that time of JohnnyVlogs. That's me applauding you guys. Thank you, thank you, thank you so much. It has been growing, and it's amazing, and it really makes a big difference in terms of how this whole YouTube thing is going for me, especially when I just noticed that YouTube has turned off the monetization on several of my recent videos again. By the way, if you guys at YouTube are watching this, whoever's in the ad monetization team, it is seriously ethically questionable what you guys are turning off. Like, it makes absolutely no sense. Just in terms of being a nice person. If you see the type of content that you guys are removing the monetization from, what is wrong with you, man? Seriously. Get a doctor, get some help, something's wrong. But outside of that, what's more important is what is right, and that is my new Patreon supporters. So picking up from last week, we have Courtney Parker. Did I thank you already, Courtney? Am I thanking you twice? I might be. Well, if I am, thanks again anyway. Marquise Turner, thank you so much, Marquise. Always cool talking to you. I appreciate the comments. Kate Neary, who has some awesome jewelry going on. Great picture, Kate. And Jessica, I think I recognize you, Jessica. Aren't you the one that helped suggest the title for Searchlight? Do I have that right? Judging by the picture, I think that's you. Pamela Lewis, thank you so much, Pamela. Really appreciate it. And Christy Straysener, I hope I'm saying that right, Straysener. Christy is also working with me on researching a case, so she is potentially a new Brain Scratch researcher as well. So thank you so much, Christy, for all your work and for your support on Patreon. I'm always looking for new topics for JohnnyVlogs. I know some of you seem like when I made that joke about heaven or hell last week, you might want me to actually take that on as a topic. So if you guys think that'll make a good topic, go ahead and drop it in the comments below. If you have some other idea for topics on JohnnyVlogs, please send me comments. I'm starting a new list just for JohnnyVlog topics so that we can keep this conversation interesting and going both ways. I really like it when these episodes come from your suggestions. So if you can help me out with that, I would greatly appreciate it. Hope you all have an awesome day. Thank you so much for hanging out with me, and I'll catch you on the next show on the Geek and Dorks channel. Take care.